Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Village Board for November 2nd, 2020. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Simpson, roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Here.
Trustee Vito?
Here.
Trustee Raffato?
Here.
Trustee Lang?
Here.
Trustee Kruger?
Present.
Trustee Papanto said she would not be here this evening, and President Horker.
Here. You have before you the minutes of the regular meeting of October 19th, 2020. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Second. The motion to Trustee Lang, second to Trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Raffato?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Horker.
Yes. Are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Spondulis. Proclamations and awards. We have none. I would like to recommend to the board for appointment to the Planning Commission, Mr. Martin Berke. To do so, I need a motion from someone to accept my recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Kruger?
Motion, Trustee Kruger, second, Trustee Raffato. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Raffato?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Horker.
Yes. Mr. Berke will be sworn.
Tomorrow.
You'll be sworn in prior to the next Plan Commission meeting, which is scheduled for this Wednesday evening.
Thank you, Mr. Spondulis. Citizens' comments. Clerk Simpson.
Members of the public may address the board with comments regarding issues relevant to village business. No citizen shall speak for more than 5 minutes without consent of the board. Members of the general public who wish to address the board must sign the request to speak form prior to the commencement of the public meeting. Ms. Wilson?
Just as a reminder, this is a time for the public to voice their opinions and concerns about issues. This is not a time to engage in conversation or debate. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Deborah Wilson, and I'm concerned about what's going on with our inability to pay our vendors. As usual, unscheduled today, they're supposed to get a direct deposit into their accounts, and they all got a letter from the finance department stating that ACH payments were going to be suspended, and that's typically what a group does when they have a cash flow problem. So, Mr. Spondulis, can you tell us what's going on with our cash flow? Why were you unable to pay our vendors today?
This is a time to voice your concerns, Ms. Wilson.
Well, my concern is that you have the authority under the Illinois Municipal Code to direct one employee. And through your one employee is John Spondulis. So since you're his boss, I would encourage you to kind of treat this like it was your own business and be as concerned about our cash flow as if it were your own business, with your own vendors calling you saying, why aren't we getting paid today? That's a problem. We're in the middle of a pandemic. You just talked about building 2 new fire stations, and well, we don't know where the revenue is going to be because people aren't, frequenting our businesses, and a lot of them are closing, but golly, it'll be cheaper to build them this year. The prices will be higher if we wait. And now you can't pay your vendors. I admonish you to take advantage of the authority given to you by the Illinois State Legislature when they drafted the Illinois Municipal Code, and utilize the power that you have under statute to hold your village manager accountable and ask him, if not in open session, in closed session, what's going on with our cash flow? You have a fiduciary duty to those who elected you into office. And I think part of that fiduciary duty is to really act as an employer to your sole employee, John Spondilis. Because it seems to me that our village manager is looking out a whole lot more for the comfort of his employees getting their new firehouse than the comfort of the taxpayers who are struggling to keep it together during a pandemic. Many of them are losing their jobs. And the county that just did a reassessment, and everybody in the village, businesses, they all doubled their taxes. Homeowners, little tiny condos where I live went up $2,000 a year. Everybody's went up except for Mr. Horker, who apparently is very well connected. So you're spending like drunken sailors, and now you can't pay your vendors. When they provide services for you, they expect to get paid on time. So they're gonna get, the letter said they're gonna get a paper check in the mail, and that'll buy you a few more days until your cash flow problem is, you know, smoothed over. But I really admonish you to do your due diligence with this man. He's not your friend. He's not someone you have lunch with and play golfing with. He's someone that you supervise, and I don't see enough supervising going on here. You treat him like a buddy. I was embarrassed that a vendor didn't get paid. You should be embarrassed that he kept this from you. What else is he keeping from you? Please look into it.
Ms. Pollard?
Would you like a response? You want a response? Hold on.
Hello, how are all of you this evening?
One moment.
It's up to you.
Afterwards.
Afterwards.
Reset it. I'm sorry, please.
Oh, no problem. I've been a Wheeling resident here for over 50 years. I love this town. It's great.
Can you talk into the microphone, please?
Sure,
Thank you.
no problem. I love this town. It's great. My problem is there's a Wheeling resident that comes to this board and constantly is requesting FOIA requests. I have here, from my first and will probably be my only FOIA, from 2018 to 2020, it has cost in administrative fees and lawyer fees over $119,419.46. That is ridiculous. It is a waste of our time. I believe everybody should be able to find out about what we need, but really, I need your timesheets, I need this, I need that. Find a resolution to the problem and then bring it to you. So with that being said, I went to the Attorney General's page and I took the FOIA training. Section 6 of FOIA provides the authority for a public body to charge fees for reproducing or certifying records, except when a fee is otherwise fixed by statute. A public body may charge fees reasonably calculated to reimburse its actual costs for reproducing and certifying public records. However, the first 50 pages are free. There have been way more than 50 pages. I see nothing in here where an invoice has gone out to this resident. The federal law has more to say on that. Granted, we go by Illinois law and not federal, and I'm in no way an attorney. Depending on your previous payment history, the volume of records you're seeking, we may ask you to submit an advance payment when the estimated fee is more than $250 or you owe a balance on a previous request. Outstanding balances that are not paid within 30 calendar days are considered overdue. We will take appropriate action to collect the debt. Failure to pay FOIA fees can be the basis for a refusal to process future requests. So maybe if we were charging our residents for FOIA, which I'm more than happy to pay for, maybe there wouldn't be a problem with paying bills. So and I've given you all a copy of all of this here as well. And that's pretty much all I need to say about it. I just think that we need to figure out a way that we are not utilizing our administrative and lawyer fees on things that, when it's requested, everything's redacted anyways. You're not getting it because it's not required. You can't give that information out. So let's spend our money appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The ACH withholdings are actually just a security measure?
And Mr. Monchain is in the building. If the board would like to hear directly from him, the village is doing an audit on all ACH accounts simply to make sure that the bank that we are paying is actually connected to the vendor that is receiving the money. It's a simple audit, which is protocol measure. Nobody is not getting paid, pardon the double negative. There is no cash flow problem, and this is not causing any delays in payment other than cutting a check, which happens the first thing Tuesday morning. So if there's a delay, it's by 24 hours. So there's no cash flow problem. There's one fire station, and this is a simple routine protocol to ensure that there is no fraudulent activity happening in the village of Wheeling. Any questions?
Was notified.
Pardon?
Everybody was notified also. You called me.
Yes.
Whatever. Whatever. Much ado about nothing. Staff reports. I don't have my golden ticket. Do you have staff reports?
It's me.
John.
As most of the public knows, because we've been talking about it for quite some time, the village has been working with FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, to eliminate or remove a number of properties from the floodplain map. This is significant because being in the floodplain requires the purchase of floodplain insurance. And the ability to request from FEMA the removal of a property only comes when a significant amount of work has been done, which we have done through several projects and millions of dollars to mitigate flooding in this community. I'm happy to report that they have issued their final report, which is in its final stage. There's a 90-day review period. So 761 properties are scheduled to come out of the floodplain. Of course, once that 90-day period is over and we're able to publicize it, we will be very specific about which properties. We'll provide the map. We'll provide all the information necessary, but I wanted the public to know, and of course the board to know, that several years of effort and many projects later, we seem to be successful in getting 761 properties out of the floodplain. This is very big news for the Village of Wheeling as a community, and certainly for those 761 property owners.
Trustee Vogel?
So that's great news, John. Will we be notifying the individual addresses about that?
Yeah,
individually?
we will get the information out there, yes, absolutely.
Good.
Thank you, Mr. Trustee Lang, then Trustee Rufato.
Are there more to come?
That's an excellent question. It depends on what projects we are able to accomplish. There's nothing on the books for the CIP that would directly impact floodplain mitigation as far as properties coming out of the floodplain. We will continue to do projects that will mitigate flooding, but you really can only affect those properties that are right along the edge of any particular floodplain. So you move the line. If you're solidly in the middle of the map, there's not much that you can do as far as the FEMA map goes. You can mitigate the actual water, the impact. So yes, as far as the water goes, probably not much more as far as floodplain mapping goes.
Got it. Well, that's excellent news. It's saving a huge amount of money for these folks eventually. So Congratulations to all.
Thank you, Trustee Lang. Trustee Rufato?
And it is great news, but they're still in a flood zone, correct? There's a 100-year flood zone, but they're in a way, they're in a flood way, which is more restrictive than a zone.
Well, they are still,
Either way, I can't remember which way it is.
it's the other way.
Other way, okay.
So yes, they'll still be in the flood zone, but that doesn't trigger the insurance requirements
Right.
for flood protection, for flood insurance.
And that doesn't also, and not to be negative here, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they will no longer have to get flood insurance. They might have to prove something in some cases.
They may have to, yeah, there is
It
a...
just makes it easier.
A lender or mortgage provider might still require an elevation certificate for properties located along the perimeter of the delineated floodplain. See, I didn't memorize that part. But, so the answer is they may have to prove it,
Yeah.
but
In the long
they shouldn't
run.
have to pay the insurance.
Yeah, exactly. And that would be great news. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Rufato. If there are no other questions or comments, consent agenda, Clerk Simpson.
On item 11, consent agenda, all items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered after all other agenda items. 11A, resolution affirming an agreement between the Village of Wheeling and the Metropolitan Alliance of Police, Chapter 786, for the period May 1st, 2019 through April 30th, 2023. That's it.
Questions or comments or a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Trustee Vogel, second, Trustee Kruger. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger. Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. New business.
Item 13A, ordinance amending Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19.11, General Development Standards, Appendix D, Design Guidelines and Associated Sections in order to modify zoning regulations for trash dumpster and garbage receptacles, enclosure, docket number 20203.
Mr. Clicker.
Yes, before you have a text amendment for dumpster enclosures. What you have is the language in the zoning code itself, the sanitation-related storage, a very simplified language that will, we believe, allow good guidelines for the general placement of dumpster enclosures, and then more robust requirements in the design guidelines in Appendix D that specify a little more information about how and where, or how and what should be used for the dumpster enclosures.
Robust requirements.
Yes.
Questions? That's a good word. Questions or comments? If there are none, we need a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Motion, Trustee Rufato, second, Trustee Kruger. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. B.
13B, ordinance granting a variation from Title 21 signs of the Wheeling Municipal Code to allow for an increase in the permitted wall sign area for meat and potato located at 403 West Dundee Road, docket number 2020-24.
Mr. Clicker.
You have before you a request for a second wall sign on the, this one would go on the east facade of the building where Meat and Potatoes is going. Because of the two wall signs, it does require a variation, and the sign had unanimous approval at the Plan Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Clicker. Questions or comments? If there are none, I need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Motion, Trustee Vogel, second, Trustee Lang. Roll call.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. C.
13C, ordinance granting special use approval for a wholesale and distribution facility outdoor in the I-1 Light Industrial and Office District, 1125 Wheeling Road, Central Turf and Irrigation, docket number 2020-27.
Mr. Clicker, I'm guessing.
Yes, you have a request before you for a special use to permit outdoor storage at Central Turf and Irrigation, 1125 Wheeling Road. The storage yard would be enclosed with a solid fence, and that's all we really have to add to that one. And it was, I'm sorry, it was unanimous approval at the Plan Commission as well.
Thank you, sir. Questions or comments? There are none. Need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Motion, trustee Rufato, second. Sure, somebody? Trustee
Trustee
Lang?
Lang?
Yes.
Okay,
Roll
trustee
call.
Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Item D.
Item D, ordinance granting a variation from Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19.11, General Development Standards, Section 19.11.010, off-street parking and loading to reduce the required off-street parking to establish 3 parking stalls at 199 North Milwaukee Avenue, docket number 2020-26.
Mr. Clicker.
This is 199 North Milwaukee, it's one of the oldest structures in town, and as such, was never really built or contemplated regarding vehicle parking. The property currently has a gravel parking lot in the rear of the property that is utilized for parking. The property owner wishes to improve the property to bring it up to current parking lot standards. With that, they can really only get in, it's not a decrease in the amount of parking that's there now, they can get 3 parking spots in when they do this. Any and all users of this property would require a variation for it, so in essence, we are pre-approving a variation for future users, but again, there's no opportunity to add additional parking at this site.
Thank you, Mr. Clicker. Do we have questions or comments from the board? Trustee Kruger?
Yes, thank you. My question is more about the way the property is currently listed on MLS. I think that the condition of this ordinance allows for only business to be on the first floor. Second floor should be residential in nature.
Correct.
However, the photos seem to show a second floor with conference rooms and desks and offices.
This was a topic at the Plan Commission, and the property owner did agree that that would be an acceptable condition, that residents on the first floor, residents on the second.
Okay, so I should ignore what I saw?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions, any other questions or comments from the board? If there are none, we need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, trustee Rufato, second, trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes,
President Horker?
Yes. E.
Item E, ordinance authorizing the issuance of a not-to-exceed $3 million airport revenue note series 2020 of the Village of Wheeling, Illinois, and approving a note agreement in connection therewith.
Good evening, President Horker, trustees.
Mr. Abbott.
Thank you for having us on the agenda tonight. And I want to start off by thanking staff for helping us get to this point, including the village attorney. So thank you very much. Sure. After tonight's approval, this is a project we've been talking about for quite some time. And if approved tonight, I've talked to the construction manager, and as soon as they get permits, they're ready to start yet this fall. So thank you for the journey so far, and we'll take any questions.
If there are no questions from the board?
I got one. Vito.
Oh, sorry. Trustee Vito.
Sir.
How happy are you that Mary Pontos isn't here to ask you a question on the
It's been so
airport?
long since I've been to an actual meeting.
Let me ask you,
I wanted to see everyone.
When do you expect construction to be done on this project? That's my best pap.
Early summer,
All right, excellent.
Yeah.
So I did my duty.
and we're planning a small groundbreaking, so we'll let you know.
All right, excellent.
Thank you, trustee Vito. Any other relevant questions or comments? Thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you, trustee Vogel. Second.
Second.
Trustee Rufato. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Rafato?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes.
Thank you. I hope the trustee's doing well.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jamie.
Item F.
Discussion regarding backyard chickens.
Lest you think Trustee Papantos would miss tonight and not have her opinion known, she did forward a letter.
Let Joe read it.
I think it'd be funnier if I read it, because it's really not my opinion. So, I will not. Trustee Papantos's comments. Raising chickens on a residential property appears to be the latest fad. Once these chickens quit producing, or owners realize that farm animals need daily care, I highly doubt there are kennels for chickens, the thrill of having chickens will quickly pass. When COVID-19 restrictions are eased, families with pet chickens may go back to work, school, or start traveling again. Who will take care of these animals? Most urban farmers are not aware what truly fresh eggs look like. Trust me, it's not like buying a dozen eggs that have been cleaned from your local grocer. What happens when the chickens no longer produce? I know. The proposed ordinance prohibits slaughter. The idea I know was mine. Chickens will lure coyotes and other predators to neighborhoods. While the chickens may be safe in a secure coop, small dogs, cats owned by neighbors, may become prey. Chickens, even those who appear healthy, can carry salmonella. If compost from infected chickens is used in vegetable gardens, salmonella can be transmitted to the vegetables. The proposed ordinance would allow chickens on most residential property. How are we going to control who has gotten a license? Residents may see their neighbors with chickens and decide to start raising some themselves. Before we know it, there will be non-permitted chickens in every other yard. Trustee Papantos wanted these comments read for the record, and I complied. So, this is a discussion. I would like to keep it less formal and more of a discussion. The board staff was very diligent in coming up with several options that have been exercised by surrounding towns that have that do allow poultry. You have before you what A, B, C options, as well as the pros and cons.
Well, Ross has a presentation.
Mr. Clicker.
Just very briefly, just kind of building upon some of the comments that you heard there, we did provide a memo with pros and cons outlining many of the issues that Trustee Papano brought up. And also, we were directed to research some options pertaining to keeping the chickens on residential properties. We've explored the various options, and we believe actually that if we're going to consider this, we need to utilize an existing model. So we did research and found into many communities, and we found a community that we believe has very similar lot sizes to the village of Wheeling, and that if we're going to allow or consider this, that we should use that community as a guideline for those. That's what you see outlined for you in the memo tonight. If the board gives us direction to go forward, we will refine these a little bit to be a little more Wheeling specific. And we will also work with the village attorney to fine tune them before we do any formal presentation or public hearing before the Plan Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Clicker. Now, opening up just for conversation to the trustees. Trustee Vito?
I've been for it all along, so I don't have any objection to it. And I think we were speaking of zone lot restrictions to bigger yards, so that's okay. And there was a chicken running loose in Ridgefield that escaped from Prospect Heights the other day. So they're there. They may not be as ubiquitous as Trustee Papantos thinks was going to be locusts of chickens everywhere, but they're coming. So I don't know. That's fine.
Thank you, Trustee Vito. Trustee Lang?
So for clarification, we have, are we just limiting them to the larger lot sizes?
No, what we would be doing is we would essentially be treating the chicken coop essentially as any other accessory structure in the community that has various setbacks. The model that we're utilizing is 10 foot from any property line and 10 foot away from any residential structure. Also cannot be in a front yard or an exposed side yard. So that essentially what it's saying is if you're going to have, and then there's minimum size requirements for the chicken coop and run based on how many chickens you have. So essentially that is going to place, on smaller lots, is going to place the coop more into the middle of the yard, which somebody may or may not want to do.
And point that I thought of as well, to echo Mary's letter, is that, so there is no slaughter.
Correct.
No slaughter rule in this paper. But so what do you know, what is the ordinance or what is the actions and other that you've found so far of someone who just gets tired of this?
What the general guidelines that almost every community that has allowed them requires is that the user or the keeper of the chickens has to register with the Illinois Department of Agriculture. There's a whole series of rules and regulations with that are way above and beyond anything that the village can administer or oversee. And they would then be required to follow those for proper disposal, acquisition, disposition if they decide to get out of keeping the hens and everything along that nature. So in essence, we would be requiring them to provide proof that they would be registered with the Illinois Department of Agriculture, and as such, they are required to follow those regulations and inspection processes.
And maybe someone can answer this question later. Is this a winter sport too? Can you do this over winter?
Yes, you can do this over winter.
Okay. Well, I'm sure. I mean, my familiarization with chicken coops are large factories and so on. So I've seen people that have the smaller coops, and I know that some of the stores up north, Farm and Fleet and so on, actually sell the little chicks and the coops and the work. So okay. I think that helps with some of my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Lang. Trustee Rufato, you had a question?
Yes, I do, thank you. So the setback approach would really open it up to the whole village?
Correct. If we went with a lot size, when we started looking at the various lot sizes that other towns have utilized or that we felt had been, well, really it had been talked about in previous board meetings. If we started to apply those, it was very few properties in town that could have them, and they were basically all focused around one neighborhood. So if the idea is to allow chickens in the community, we need to allow them in the community, not one specific neighborhood.
And from what I read, this, I think it was Rolling Meadows that you looked at, they limit their licenses to 25.
Correct.
So if we decide to go down this path, we could limit it to 10.
10.
Or 15 or something.
I can tell you that in a quick conversation I had with Rolling Meadows regarding this, they're nowhere near their 25 max. So.
I was okay with property size basis, but I'm not sure I'm a fan of the setback approach, but thank you. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Rufato. Trustee Vogel, you had something?
Yeah, is there anything magic about no less than 2? What if somebody wants 1? I mean,
that really comes right down to the state of Illinois agricultural requirements on it. And the only thing that we can come up with is that chickens don't like to be alone.
Okay. Okay, that answers that question.
They're a communal breed.
Okay. And the other question is that there's some language in here that's, kind of mentions that it's unlawful to do this, unlawful to do that, making loud noise. Is there some penalty that we're going to build into this if they get complaints? And
It would fall under our regular property maintenance standards. So noise violations would be a noise violation of our property maintenance standards and would be treated as the same.
Well, what I would add to that, if I can, is the license would be subject to being revoked. To the extent you've got someone who continues to violate the regulations, I think we'd build in here some procedures to go after the license.
License, okay. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Trustee Vogel. Trustee Kruger, and then Trustee Rufato.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, Director Clicker, thank you for the effort that you put into this. It was very thorough. I did appreciate the limit of 25 licenses in the village. I did appreciate that you opened it up to more of the community than just based on lot size. I thought that was quite convenient to just shove them all over in my neighborhood. I would like to, I also appreciate the pros and cons section, and I'd like to focus on the predator aspect of backyard chickens. As we all know, this topic has been talked about many times over the last year or so, and I believe that each time I provided comment, I mentioned predators. Since we are talking again, I thought I would do something a little different and supply some pictures of predators, all taken by me in either my front or my backyard. Luca, if you please. In the center of this first picture, there is a large and quite majestic coyote that effortlessly cleared my 4-foot fence to enter my yard on Sunday, October 16th around 5:30 p.m. Next picture, please. This is just a zoom in of the specimen. Was he or she hunting for my neighbor's chickens across the street before he got frustrated and came over to my house? I have no clue. But I will say that he or she hung around for about 10 minutes as my Horizon Trails neighbor's little dog was frantically barking its brains out. The coyote seemed intrigued by the sounds of that dog on the other side of the 6-foot fence on the left. I immediately notified those neighbors to protect their pup. They were grateful, and they are very careful now when letting Ginger outside. Next picture, please. This is a female of a mated pair of great horned owls that live on Jackson Drive. They seem to move their nest annually, maybe to give me and my neighbors our fair turn at having them raise their family in our trees. Did you know that they are the natural predator of the skunk because they have no sense of smell? For that reason alone, I don't mind these guys hanging around. Next picture, please. This is one of many hawks, some red tail and some not, that also live and hunt in our neighborhood. Next picture, please. This is the same hawk in flight. As I recall, on this day, this hawk swooped down and I witnessed it swipe a squirrel right off a tree trunk before flying away with his or her dinner. Next picture, please. This little guy fell in my window well on Labor Day weekend this year. We lured him into that live trap with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then we released him further away from my house. This opossum does eat bugs and eggs. Next picture, please. And this picture was just to lighten up the visuals a bit and to demonstrate that I believe that the predatory animals that I just shared with you are why I have fewer of these wild rabbits or squirrels or skunks or possum in my yard anymore. Let's not give them chickens to hunt too. Thank you, Luca, very much. In addition to an increased presence of predatory animals in our community, I am concerned that backyard chickens being mentioned nowhere in our comprehensive plan. I searched the entire 110-page document for the word chickens and farm fowl, not one mention. Even in 2003, this village was forward-thinking for the future of Wheeling. I am an emphatic no to backyard chickens. Thank you for indulging me.
Thank you, Trustee Kruger. Trustee Rufato, you had a question?
Yes, one last question. So the licensing and the permitting and the enforcement of this, where would this fall in the village? Under what? Under community development?
Yes, under community development.
You'd be counting the chickens?
Yes, I would.
Before they're hatched.
Okay, well, that was it. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I do have an opinion on this. I do see value to the backyard chicken issue. I do know that there are predatory animals around here. Coyotes are territorial. They do form small family groups, but they typically don't hunt in a pack. They'll hunt in a pair. Sometimes they'll have a pup with them, which works out pretty much just like anybody training a kid. But personally, I don't believe it's going to increase the preponderance of predators. Any other comments?
Yeah, one more.
Yes, sir.
So this, say this goes terribly bad, how hard is it to rescind this?
I mean, it would just be an amendment to the ordinance or a complete revocation of the ordinance.
We could have sunshine language in the ordinance, too. I mean, we could kind of put it in as a trial basis.
Well, you do call
Something
for an
along those
annual
lines,
renewal.
You know?
Yeah, the licenses also,
And they're
or
annual,
permits that would be required are annual. So if the village board decided not to authorize renewals of them, it would end when those
All at the
permits
same
expire.
time. We can end it all at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trustee Vito?
Where was this chicken memo at? Because I didn't see it.
It's in your board docs, in your packet.
I didn't, sorry, I mean, it sounds like you spent a lot of time on it, and I'm just throwing chickens to the wind over here. Yeah, so I don't know, I kind of like to read it, but I don't know if I could go through a whole chicken memo in a second here. But, all right.
We can wait.
But yeah, I mean, I got the gist of I got the highlight points, so it's not going to change my opinion, but Ross, I will look at it, so I apologize.
Well, we're probably going to be looking for some direction based on the options that were presented to us. And it seemed, yes?
No, I was going to agree with you.
Oh, okay, thanks. I suppose before we go into which one sounds best, we should poll the board and see if there is still a majority of people interested in it.
To even move forward at all?
Correct. Trustee Rufato?
No.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
No.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
I'm a yes.
You're yes?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So the work done by staff and the outline provided three options for possible structuring of the permitting.
It's really two. It's either we go with a lot size model or we go with a setback model. The A, B, and C that you see in the memo are in essence, I copied out the regulations from Rolling Meadows. Their permitting requirements, their zoning requirements, and
It seemed like only C had the specific note of roosters, which I think is important.
right. What you have is you have license and permits, the application process, and then the regulations for keeping. That's what the ABC is. And that's, in essence, that is the Rolling Meadows guidelines, which we're using as a model, if you will.
Okay.
So the options
either
really are either
Lot size or setback?
lot size or setback.
So that's going to be the question, lot size or setback?
Has anyone reached out to, how long has Rolling Meadows had their ordinance in?
They approved it in September 20, I'm sorry, no, it's ours. Theirs was, it was last year. Here, I actually have it right here.
September 24th and 19, you state.
Yep.
Do you know if there's been any issues?
Although I did have a very brief conversation with them there. They came nowhere close to their maximum number of licenses.
Okay. Thanks.
If there are no other questions. Trustee Vogel, lot size or setbacks?
Lot size,
Trustee Rufato, lot size or setback?
Lot size.
Trustee Vito, lot size or setback?
Setbacks.
Trustee Kruger, would you like to just vote no?
Yeah, none.
I would respect that.
If I have to choose one, it's setbacks so that more of the community can have this feature and this, if they so choose to start this hobby, they can, I would think it'd be better for more people in the community to have it and not relinquish it just to my neighborhood where I clearly don't want to see chickens and any more predators in my yard.
Okay. Trustee Lang, lot
Setbacks.
size? Sorry?
Setbacks.
Setbacks. I actually feel the setback is a better way of doing it myself also.
Okay.
Is that clear enough? So then,
Yes,
we
we
would like
will,
you to draft something
Yeah,
with...
we will fine tune what we have presented. We'll work with the village attorney on making sure that we've covered all the appropriate language.
Including a setback, a sunset?
Yeah, or a sunset
Potential
provision.
annual sunset.
Yeah, so some trial language or the ability to repeal the ordinance
Okay.
in the event.
Trustee Rufato, you have a question?
Do we need to land on the number of licenses and a fee? I mean, it was suggested $25. Do we need to talk about both of those?
We can make are we prepared, Ross? We can make
We
recommendations.
can make recommendations on that. Again, this will have to go through a formal public hearing process with the Plan Commission, and ultimately we'll come back up to you again for a formal.
But if there's an opinion and direction from the board now as far as we
I'm not
don't
above
want,
bowling.
you know, right, so if the more information we have from the board, the
It would save time, wouldn't it?
better.
I would like to see a smaller number, perhaps,
Smaller
to start. Yeah, to start, we can
Of
always.
permits?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
So a
I
smaller
would like
number
to
of
see
permits.
10.
What about the fee?
Fee, yep, $25 is fine. I'm fine with $25.
Trustee Kruger?
Is there a fee for the registration with the Department of Agriculture?
If it is, it's also minimal. It's like $25 as
Yeah,
well.
what did he say, 25?
Yes.
But again, this is actually a registration that covers people that have 2 hens up to the industrial grower who has 10,000. So, you know, they have regulations regarding all of that. So I don't, honestly, I didn't look in to see what their fees structure were, but just if we were to require it, they have to get it.
Right. So $50 plus the cost to build,
Permit to get the structure, yes, so.
correct? And then inspections?
There would be an annual, yeah.
Your staff has the bandwidth to handle chicken, pre-chicken flocks and post-chicken complaints?
As far as complaints, it would be no different than any property maintenance issue. We can handle that. As far as new coming online, if the number is limited to, as we suggested, 25 or less, we can handle that. That's,
Will they be allowed to create heat for these chickens over the winter when it's
the
25 below
proposed,
zero?
the proposed, or the recommended language would allow electric heaters, no propane or gas heaters.
So electric extension cord running from the house, how does the fire department feel about that?
It would have to be properly installed. So again, it would either electric run out to the coop or
So now you're going to run power out to the coop too,
probably.
to get potentially 6 eggs a day, except for in the winter when they don't produce eggs because they need 12 hours of light to produce eggs, and you're not going to get out there fast enough to get a frozen or cracked egg. So, okay, I'm just curious what the expense is for the resident.
You also have a cigar in there. and
Number of
hide from your wife.
licenses and permit fee?
None.
None? Okay. Trustee Lang?
I don't have an opinion on it. However, whatever sounds fair that you find, Ross, they're eggs. I mean, we can't make it cost prohibitive for someone to do this. It's, you know, let's not make it overly expensive. So
Thank you.
I'm willing to go with whatever he finds.
Trustee Vito?
Yeah, that's fine, whatever. 25.
Number
Whatever
of permits?
25 is fine.
25. Any feeling on the cost of the permit?
I'm with trustee Lang, as long as it's not cost prohibitive.
Okay. Trustee Vogel?
$25 for the permit and limit it to 25 for now.
Thank you. I'm in agreement with the 25 and 25 also, so let's start with that and see how it goes from there. Anything else we might consider?
I think that covers it, and as Director Clicker said, there's a whole process this has to go through from this point out, so we will flesh it out.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for your work. You have before you the bills for October 15th through October 28th,
Oh, you
2020.
forgot official communication.
Oh, sorry. And Elaine has something she needs to say.
Okay. Remember, tomorrow is Election Day. If you haven't voted, the polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. In the event that you're not a registered voter, it's still not too late. Voters who are not registered can register and vote at their home precinct only. If you don't know where your polling place is, you can utilize the Cook County's Clerk online, your voter information tool at www.cookcountyclerk.com to find your polling place. Please bring 2 pieces of identification to register, one with your current address. Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk Simpson. Yes, tomorrow's Election Day. I have an opinion about this. Don't vote. Don't go to the polls and just figure you have to punch every box. If you don't know what the department does, how do you know who's the best candidate for the department? Go to the polls, but go educated about a few of the candidates in a few of the positions. And if you don't know any of them, do some homework. We have Google. You can learn a lot overnight. Don't just go to the polls and check all the boxes because it's your option. That's wonderful, but that's kind of like hearing something in the night in your house, reaching in your nightstand and shooting holes through the walls. Don't do that. Do some homework. Figure out what the different positions do. Figure out who might actually impact your existence in this town, and then go vote. And if you can't find somebody who shares your positions or your opinions for a position that you feel is important, maybe you should be the candidate. This is democracy. Run. Don't just go and punch all the boxes. I hate when I hear people voting who they don't know even what the positions do. Ugh. Sorry, that's my rant for the year.
I have something.
Oh, Trustee Lang.
Chance. Do we have an update on the wonderful construction on Milwaukee Avenue? It really had turned into a nightmare from what it looked like a little bit of patching to make a wonderful Milwaukee Avenue. It's turned out to be 2 months worth of work, and it's crazy, you know, and a lot of businesses are frustrated. They're not blocking their entrances, but it's still frustrating. So, update.
We do not have an update. I can tell you just from experience that they have begun to pull barricades in both directions today, but we were trying to get an answer, and we are coming up short.
As a reminder, it's an IDOT.
Oh, absolutely. It's an IDOT project.
Wheeling.
I'm not quite sure why there wasn't much communication coming from them to us. But we spent a good amount of time today trying to get ahead of that question, and we're unable to do so. But it is certainly good news that the barricades are starting to come out, but they were also still patching today. So hopefully that's a good sign that the project is coming to a close.
Well, I asked a lot of folks, business owners who have called to be patient, and it would be a quick project because it looked like it was just a quick patch, and it really did not turn into that. And it is going to be very nice when it's complete. I'll keep saying that. I'll keep being positive about it. But yeah, it was a long time coming in this process. So thanks for the update.
Sure.
Trustee Kruger.
Thank you. I just want to give a shout out to the Wheeling Police Department for their Wheeling Police Ghouls Out Curbside Trick or Treat event on Saturday. I heard it was very well attended. I got a picture of Riggs. He was actually costumed up. I wasn't sure if he was a referee or Beetlejuice, but could have gone either way.
He was a referee.
And anyway, it was great, and thanks for doing that for our kids and making some semblance of normal Halloween around here.
Thank you, Trustee Kruger. Anyone else? Now, you have, I already said it. You have before you the bills from October 15th through October 28th, 2020. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Motion, trustee Kruger.
Second.
Trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Oh, sugar. Trustee Rafato?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. We do have an executive session this evening, and that is going to take place here. So the motion I need is to adjourn from regular session and reconvene into, regular session and reconvene into executive session in 5 minutes. Motion to adjourn.
We state the
So
bills.
moved.
Wait,
Who was it?
I need to read this specifically?
Yes, please.
Oh, sorry, there's a law. For the purposes of pending probable and/or imminent litigation and the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee or employees of the village. As read. Adjournment, someone?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, trustee Rafato, second. Trustee Kruger. All in favor?
Roll call.
Oh,
executive
roll
session,
call.
Please, thank you.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Rafato?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, meeting adjourned. Is everybody out anyway? Now we have to wait 5 minutes because I said so, don't we? Yeah, but we've got people.